And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about edging, semen retention, and helping you to have the happiest life possible. Whether you're single or whether you're partnered up, we want you to understand this aspect of sexuality so that you can be happy consistently over a long period of time. That's what this channel is about, helping you guys to understand yourself, understand your drive, and help you to achieve success in every single area of life. Edging, what is the practice? Edging basically means that when you are masturbating, it means that you are not ejaculating. That's simply what edging means, okay? You're basically stroking yourself without ejaculating. Okay, so let's understand this aspect from masculinity and femininity perspective. What are the definitions? Is it based upon your key features as a masculine man and how bulky you look like? Not at all. Masculinity is the ability to control one's thoughts, one's emotions, and one's behaviors. That is the best definition I've come up with so far in my journey. Femininity, for men, is the lack of ability to control one's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. In order for you to achieve happiness, in order for you to achieve success and abundance in every single area of life, which one do you think is more effective in terms of achieving those things? Control. Okay? It's all about control. Controlling yourself. Discipline. Because if you're disciplined in understanding how to control your thoughts, you will be able to control whether you are happy or not. Whether you look at a situation as a positive thing or a negative thing. Whether you look at a situation whether it's a win or a loss. Can you make a loss into a win? Because if you can, you're going to be able to trick your brain to be happy all of the time. Because you're progressing, because you're moving towards the land of your dreams. Masculinity, it's all about masculinity, guys. Everything is about masculinity for us guys. So, if we know this, let's talk about the different aspects of basically men. You've got the single guy, and then you've got the partnered up guy. The partnered up guy could be in monogamy, it could be in Three Girls in Love, it could be in any form or aspect when you've got access to women, or if you're homosexual, access to a man, but obviously we're talking more about these aspects that I've mentioned, okay? So, let's talk about single first, because that's where most of you guys are, which is a good thing, okay? Why is that a good thing? Very often, people don't realize the aspect of if you are poor, you shouldn't be having a lot of power. Okay? Like from the aspect of the amount of damage that you can do, it's good that you are not creating a lot of damage if you're poor. And I'm not talking about being poor from an aspect of not having the things that you emotionally need. Very often we men, from an early age, we develop the need for having women in our lives. Okay? However, if we're not able to attract women, that's a good thing if we suck. If you suck, the worst thing possible is for you to have access to a lot of women. Because that means that they're going to become destroyed the more time you spend with them. Do you understand what I mean? This is why it's good for poor people in the world to be poor if they're ignorant and are not spending their money wisely. If we give a poor person, someone who has a poor person mindset, and immediate gratification is what they're all about, and then we give them $1 million, that would be a bad thing. Because they now have power to do and to spend and to build up industries and other people that might be also destructive for other people. Does that make sense? So as a single person, it's good that you're single if you suck. we want you to become me personally, I want you to achieve 3 girls in love at some aspect in the future. 3 girls in love being you, one man with 3 women that you're able to retain, and you create heaven for them on earth. That's the goal, really, of the entire Men of High Value movement, is to help you to get to that point. And at that point, though, you've learned, you've become a man of high value. So it's actually a good thing to give you power, because you're going to use it wisely. To those, great power has been given, great responsibility, something. Yeah, you understand the point. Okay, so if we're thinking about single, you being single, fantastic. Let's now figure out the best way to be single from a sexual aspect. And there's 3 different ways. 1, you're either a incel, involuntary celibate, and you're porn loving, and you're a masturbator, right? That's the one aspect. The second aspect would be that you are an edger. Okay, we'll discuss that one. And then the third one is that you are voluntary celibate, and you don't allow any sexual stimuli into your life. One of my clients asked me the other day, he said, is watching twerking videos porn? And I'm like, yes, it is. Any form of sexual stimuli is porn. If you watch it, and if you are basically trying to get pleasure from the thing that you're watching, that's porn. Now, obviously, you can't go through life without seeing, skin, without seeing commercials, without seeing this, that, and the other. But those will be blips instead of you focusing and watching it all the time, right? You're gonna think you're gonna get away from what you're watching and not watch it. Do you understand what I mean? Like, if you are a non-stimuli person and don't want any sexual stimuli, you'll see it, and then you'll get your eyes off it immediately because you don't want to see it. Why? Because it creates a need. And I'll explain this in a second. So, how is it for an ejaculator? This is where most single guys are. I'm telling you, most single guys, and we're talking 95 to 99% of guys, maybe 99%, are chronic masturbators, watching porn, ruining their lives. Why are they ruining their lives? From a femininity and masculinity standpoint. Femininity is for them to remain in their lack of control of their thoughts, lack of control of their emotions, and their behaviors. Meaning, they're continuously going to be chasing immediate gratification. It's all about pleasure for feminine men. All about pleasure. They don't, if they have a job, which they might not, they might be living at home with their mom, or they might be on welfare, or whatever it is. Feminine men will continuously be seeking immediate gratification. And that's what they're going to get. And that is going to fry their dopamine aspects, okay? Like their regulation of dopamine in their brain. It's going to fry it. Which means that they get less and less and less and less and less enjoyment out of life every single day that passes by. That's what immediate gratification does to you. It's like being on drugs. It's like, boom. You get like a kick, like an intense kick, a spike for a second, or for maybe a few minutes if you're lucky, or maybe a few hours if you're lucky, but you're draining yourself continuously every single day, until you're 40 years old, you hate your life, and you're basically, you're not motivated, you're upset at everyone, and blah, 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 blah. Horrible relationships, your health is ridiculously disgusting, right? And you've got the worst habits in the world, etc., etc. This is the lives of a lot of guys, okay? Now, those are like on the intense aspect of femininity in terms of they're not feminine, okay? They're interested in girls, but they're feminine in the aspect that they're all about immediate gratification. Do you understand what I mean? But that's the extreme version. You've got like kind of the middle guy, which is the guy that kind of fulfills his responsibilities because he doesn't want to, you have the aspect of social standing, right? So you're trying to get a job and you have a job, but you're just happy with the job and that's it. You're not interested in anything else and you just want to basically do your thing, have your free time, get your beer during the weekend, spend time with the guys, blah, 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 blah. An incel, involuntary celibate, and chronic masturbator. Okay? Those guys won't go anywhere. They won't go anywhere, and they'll stay where they are. And those are the guys that are basically going to say, yeah, you know, life is okay. That's it. And I'm trying to get a girlfriend. And then they might get a girlfriend. But do you understand the single aspect? Okay, let's move on to the edger. This is a guy who's watching my videos or watching semen retention videos, and he's like, oh man, my ejaculation, I don't want to ejaculate at all. Like, I want to keep it in because I want to retain all these benefits that people are talking about, blah, blah, blah. And I also, but I enjoy stroking myself. Like, I enjoy edging, so I'm going to do that once in a while, and maybe even every single day. And, oh, this is very nice. I've had clients that have been doing this for a long period of time, and I see what happens in their lives, guys. Does it make them more masculine? Okay? The guys that are actually watching all these videos and striving to control their thoughts, their emotions, and their behaviors, but they don't manage to. They basically just find this other practice that, oh, I'm not ejaculating, but I can stroke myself. Oh, what a genius. I'm a genius. I should have thought about this all along. This is what happens to you when you edge. Let me explain. Every time you edge, or every time you are getting sexual stimuli, or stimuli, I don't know how the word is pronounced, it needs an outlet. Every time you receive the edging stimuli or sexual stimuli from anywhere, it needs an outlet. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let me explain. I have to explain the 90-day cycle of semen retention for this to be understood properly. The one aspect, the 31st days of semen retention, your emotions are going to be all over the place. You're detoxing from femininity. Okay? So during this time, you're not going to be able to control your thoughts. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be aggressive. You're going to be like angry. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be happy sometimes. And like you're going to have all over the place emotions, not being able to control what you're doing and how it's happening. Okay? During this time frame, you might manage to get past 30 days. And then once you get past 30 days, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a decrease in sexual desire, but also a decrease in sexual need. Why? Because you've got the factory in there, okay, the semen producing factory that has been on hyperdrive for years. Anyone who's masturbating will have their factory on hyperdrive continuously. Because every time you ejaculate, you're sending messages to your brain and to your body that we need to produce more sperm because he needs to produce more so that he can ejaculate more. And we need to produce more so that he can ejaculate. We need to produce more so that he can ejaculate. Every single time you ejaculate, we need to produce more. Okay, that's what your factory workers are thinking and doing continuously. They're like, we're stressed. We got to do this more and more and more. And then you're basically draining all of your sexual organs, which is basically all of your organs, okay? You have your reproductive organ, but you have your organs on the inside, the kidney, the liver, the heart, all of those things are being drained over time. That's what happens when you masturbate, okay? So, once you get to past 30 days, you're now detoxing, so your organs are actually improving. Things are becoming better on the inside, but in your brain, everything is crazy. Now you get past 30 days, you're between 30 and 60 days, what's going to happen? You're going to get the flat line. You've probably noticed it before. What's the flat line? It's basically when you are not feeling like yourself. You're demotivated, you're not excited about doing your habits, you're kind of struggling a little bit with life, but you're not really excited about anything. The things that gave you enjoyment before probably are not giving you the same enjoyment anymore. You probably don't want to drink anymore. You probably don't want to do drugs anymore. You probably you just don't, there's nothing in life that makes you really that happy. You're happy, okay? Maybe you're a 5 or a 6, but you're just like, you never get up to 8 or 7 or pleasure, okay? This is because your brain is now going into healing itself. Now it's going to the brain. Before it was the organs, and your brain was just like, what's going on? Now your brain is calming down. It's like, okay, let's see what we have to work with here. How's your dopamine levels? All right, let's do the optimal dopamine, aspect and heal the dopamine receptors. And how about the oxytocin receptors? Okay, let's heal those as well. And how about these receptors and create some new neural pathways? Great, awesome. That's good. You're healing your brain. So you want a lower decrease in desire and need, because during this time frame, you're now learning how to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. Amazing. Imagine if you could stick with that. Stick with that. So that you can learn how to control it when your sexuality comes back up again, which it will. Always. Once you get past 60 days, that's when it comes back. Okay, it might happen at 50 days, 60 days, 70 days. It doesn't matter. During that time frame, you're solidifying now between 60 and 90 days. You're solidifying that aspect of control over your emotions and solidifying your dopamine receptors, oxytocin, and everything working correctly in your brain. Your hormones are improving so that your testosterone levels are reaching their optimal levels for your discipline. Okay? If you're not being very disciplined, you're going to have a hard time continuing on that journey. So it's important that you work those 70 to 80 hour work weeks that I talk about so that you are staying disciplined and focus on other things. Focus on success, focus on serving rather than thinking about yourself and your emotions. And do you understand what I mean? So between 60 to 90 days, that's when sexual desire begins to ramp up its optimal rate. Okay? Because it's been low, but now your desire begins to increase. Now is the time to control yourself and to not do anything, because it's increasing, it's becoming, and now if you can learn to control yourself during that time, it's easier, way easier than the first 30 days. So if you do that, now things are actually improving and you'll hit your normal sexual stimuli that basically comes from your body, and now you're going to operate on a consistent basis. You're going to be consistent. You're going to be consistently happy at around 7 or 8 all of the time. All of the time, because you can control your thoughts. And as long as you're learning about success and progression and all those things and how to turn, how to win more in every single aspect of life, your life is going to be amazing, okay? But you don't involve women into your life yet, because during that time frame, now it's time to focus on success and being disciplined and consistent in terms of achieving your long-term goals and setting up your financial foundation in order to achieve your goals. So now that you know those 90 days, I've explained this many times, we go back to edging. Edging. What does that do? Okay, let's say you're in your first 30 days. You've never managed to overcome your first 30 days. You're still feminine. What happens when you edge? Let's ramp up the sperm production, guys. Okay? Factory workers, get back to work. Blah, 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 blah. And now you're edging, but you're like stopping right before ejaculation. All of those workers are like working. And now they've produced all this sperm. And where does it go? We need an outlet. What's wood? She's not opening the vault. She's not opening. We can't get out. What are they going to do? It will always need an outlet. And what you're basically doing is you're ramping up massively your desire, but also your need at the same time, because you're not in control. You're managing to stop it, but that will be a temporary journey. Let me explain that again. If you edge continuously in the first 30 days, your semen retention journey will be a temporary one, because you're not going to be able to stop yourself the next few times. Maybe you'll manage a week. Maybe you'll manage 2 weeks. Sayonara, okay, to your semen retention journey, because it's done. It's over. You're producing all this tension and intensity towards a sexual outlet that you will not be able to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. You're basically making yourself into a sex addict, okay, where you're frying your brain continuously because there is no outlet. Now, it might help a lot if you work 80 hours a week, okay, in terms of your edging, because then you'll be focusing on so much other things, but at the same time, you won't have much of a desire to edge either, because you're so focused on achieving success and you don't want to put yourself on the edge of draining yourself with an ejaculation, and the edging just causes so much sexual thoughts. Like every single time you're out and about, you're going to be looking at girls and looking at them as an objective. You know, I want to have sex with her. I want to have sex with her. And I want to have sex with her. I want to have sex with her. I don't want to have sex with her. Like, do you see, is that masculine or feminine? It's feminine because you're continuously focused on immediate gratification and pleasure. If you are not edging, you'll begin to focus not on the sexual aspects. That will work in the background. That's going to be like ooh, she has a pretty face, you know, and she has a pretty face, but it's not going to be a sexual thing. It's not going to be like, oh, I need my penis to be stroked. Do you understand what I mean? That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys, that edging is a very, very, very bad idea. Because you're promoting sexuality in your life even though you don't want to be sexual. So you're basically moving towards involuntary celibacy continuously, and you're not becoming voluntary celibate. Because you're so interested in sex. That's what happens with your factory. Don't do it. Okay? It's ridiculous. You're speeding up the process for no reason. And you're creating an outlet and you don't have an outlet, which means that you're going to relapse eventually, and then you're going to revert back. You're going to return to your vomit, and you're going to begin to ejaculating and masturbating and watching porn again and again and again and again, and you're not going to change. Edging messes up your journey. Don't do it. And then you get to the last one, which is the the no sexual stimuli, voluntary celibate guy, who simply enjoys having desire, but no need nonsoever. He's calm, he's collected, he's consistent. He does what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and is not interrupted in his thoughts and focus pattern by all the sexuality that's going on with the feminine guys and with the women. Okay? And they manage to say no. The thing is that like if you're not able to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors, and you're continuously edging, what's going to happen when porn comes into your life? Oh, whoa. You know, you won't be able to control yourself. What happens when a woman actually comes up to you and begins to undress in front of you? Or your guys are saying, hey, come to the strip joint with me. You know, it's like, okay, you know, like if you're edging, that's what you're going to do, because you're not going to be able to control yourself. Well, and all the other addictions are going to come back into your life. Stop edging. I'm serious. It's ridiculous. Oh, but Joseph, you're edging because you're having sex in marriage and you're continuously not ejaculating. What about that? Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So, you've got what happens when you're partnered up. What happens? You've got the incel, the porn-loving guy who's a masturbator in marriage. This happens a lot, by the way, just so you know. Oh, monogamy is great. Okay, tell that to half of the guys, probably, who are masturbating and watching porn. How is marriage great? Why did you get married in the first place? Okay, did you know that sexuality doesn't function for a woman in monogamy without other women desiring you, the man? Okay, so basically, this is what happens for most guys in marriage. They become masturbators. I remember one guy, he's a guy I worked for, one of my bosses, and I remember he was like telling me, oh, semen retention? Like, that's not possible, man. Like, and in marriage, like, there's guys in marriage that don't watch porn and masturbate? No, that doesn't work. Do you understand what I mean? This is the norm rather than the exception in marriage. And very often religious boys are like, oh, when I get married, I'm going to have sex as much as I want. Yeah, that's the exact journey I had, and it didn't work very well. I became an incel, not an incel from the aspect of the second thing I'm going to explain. Okay, so but that's basically when your wife doesn't want to have sex at all. That happens. Okay. And then you've got I guess the more normal marriage, maybe. Like that. This is probably where most people are for a time. And then eventually the woman becomes sick of it, and that 40, 50 years old, then he basically, that's when he begins to, do the incel part. But in a normal marriage in the age of 20, 30, whatever, during that time frame, you will probably ejaculate a lot. Those guys ejaculate a lot, meaning 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot. But me, when I got married at 23, I wanted to have sex all the time, every day, blah, blah, blah. Why? Because I was ejaculating all the time. So I put my sperm production in hyperdrive. I wanted it to be in hyperdrive because I wanted to ejaculate. But it's not that I wanted it on a hyperdrive. It's just that that's what naturally happens when you ejaculate all the time. You just want sex, and you need sex, and I need an outlet, I need release, blah, 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 blah. And you don't want to masturbate because why would you masturbate when you have your wife there? It's like, so she becomes, your masturbator friend, but she doesn't really want to. And so it's like, it sucks. Okay, so what do? Well, you edge. That's what happens, right? So you end up having sex, and when you do have sex, you don't ejaculate. So let me explain how this works then, and how this differs massively from the first aspect that I explained in the beginning. What happens is that you now are having sex, but not ejaculating, and what happens to your brain now? Hopefully, you have gone 90 days in the past of semen retention, meaning that you've learned to control your desire. You've learned to control your need, okay, for sex. And you learn to control your thoughts so that you can focus on more productive activities instead. Let's hope that you've managed to get there. So, you enter into marriage and you manage somehow to learn some form of ejaculation control. Over time, we'll teach you all of that, but for now, that's kind of where it's at. You learn some kind of ejaculation control, which means that you can have sex without ejaculating. Great. But what happens to your brain? Well, this is what's going to happen. You're going to become more sexually aware. Okay? And you're going to want, the same thing kind of happens. However, if you manage to give your woman pleasure, that is some form of outlet. And if you work 70 to 80 hour work weeks, that becomes an outlet as well. Okay, so I explained that you need an outlet if you're edging. Well, the fact that you're actually working 70 to 80 hours and you're also giving your woman pleasure so you get fulfillment out of sex, that means that you actually enjoyed yourself. You got the emotional thing that you needed in order for you to not become a sex addict. Does that make sense? Like if you are emotionally fulfilled from a sexual relationship with your wife or with your 3 girls in love, then it actually, you're emotionally fulfilled sexually. So you don't need that anymore. You have a massive desire for it all the time, every day, exciting, right? But because you've learned how to control your thoughts, now you're actually using that sexual drive, that sexual emotion, and putting it by choice into your successful endeavors, into your achieving your massive goals, your financial goals, solving problems, etc., etc. Does that make sense? So and also the difference with having sex with your partners for life who actually love you and you love them, compared to having sex with women outside of that relationship where you basically, let's say you're an edger but you're single. Well, like, wouldn't it work in the same way? Like, I'm single but I'm basically edging together with, while having sex with these girls that I don't really want commitment-wise. What happens then is that there's no love involved, and yes, you might get some fulfillment from their pleasure, okay, obviously, and maybe you are working 70 to 80 hour work weeks, so maybe it's kind of have the same effect as those guys that are partnered up in 3 girls in love or in marriage. However, what you seem to be forgetting is the aspect of your commitment. Okay? Maybe you're getting an outlet in those women, but you understand that they become your outlet, meaning you're massively affecting them long term. And if you don't understand what I mean, again, watch the casual sex for women is Russian roulette for them. Because I made that video, and man, I really like that video a lot. So you need to go back and watch it. Write it down now so you don't forget. Because that video explains what happens to women when you reject them, when you have sex with them and leave them behind. It's a very, very bad aspect, because those women, I'm just briefly explaining this now, those women usually are used to rejecting men. Okay, if you're practicing semen retention, you're going to be one of the best men that she has ever met. Meaning the sex is going to be good. And not only that, but she's actually going to want to have a relationship with you. And then you're like, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm sorry. Like, I have some goals and I need to achieve this and that. Or even worse, you stop responding to her. And you're like, you block her. Or you like, I don't want commitment. And I don't even want a relationship because I want to focus on my financial foundation. Bro, you're messing up her life. You're messing up her future relationships. You're messing up everything. Every single time that a woman enters into a monogamous relationship, which most women want, then they'll be pining for the guy that rejected them in the past. The best possible guy. Which means that you screwed her over massively because you were probably the best guy that she found. Okay? So she's going to be pining for you for the rest of her life and have a bad relationship with her husband as a result, and hope and look for something better and maybe even get you back or find someone better. What's going to happen to her kids when she divorces her man because she had a financial incentive to do so? She's going to divorce his ass, and then she's going to try and find a new guy, serial monogamy, and then there's going to be in-laws, okay, and stepbrothers and stepsisters and stepfather, and you know what happens with stepfathers and stepmothers, don't you? They're the worst kind of parents, okay? Most of the time. A lot of the time. Because they don't really care. They don't have this biological connection with the children. So you end up screwing her children over. And if their children are screwed over, her children, this is what you caused, by the way. You helped cause, oh no, she's had sex with tons of other men in the past. Yeah, but she wanted to connect with you. You caused it. And then, because you're a man of high value, right? And then, what's going to happen to her kids? Well, guess what? She's going to get screwed over if they're daughters. And they're guys. Guys are going to be hybrids, so they're going to have sex with tons of women. And then the girls are going to have sex with tons of guys. And they're going to be screwed over, which is going to screw over the next generation. Which is going to screw over the next generation. And the next generation. And the next generation until they learn the principles that are taught on this channel. Like, oh my gosh. Like, how much do you need to learn about women in order for you to understand how much you're screwing them over by having sex with them? Anyway, I'm explaining edging here, guys. Don't edge. Don't have sex outside of lifelong commitment. Okay? Once you're in 3 Girls in Love and you edge, because that's what you do when you have sex and don't ejaculate at the end. Fantastic, because you've learned to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. You're masculine. And if you're masculine and you're in that relationship and you have an outlet and you also are consistent in terms of feeling love, you actually feel love for your women and your children and a love for other people. You don't only care about yourself. That's when edging is a beautiful thing. Absolutely amazing. And that's basically how I practice it. So watch this video again if you don't understand. Edging is horrible and then edging is fantastic. It doesn't make any sense. Watch it again in order for you to understand, or ask questions right now or in the comments down below and I'll answer you. I'm pretty good at answering. So now you understand this. Last thing I wanted to say in terms of edging. Let's see. Was there anything else? I think that's it. We're going towards masculinity, guys. We're going towards control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. It's going to suck in the beginning. It's going to be hard in the beginning. And that is the time when you want to make your journey easier by not edging. Okay? Stay away from it. Once you're in 3 Girls in Love and you've learned how to discipline yourself in order to achieve at least 10 Bitcoin at current prices in August 2020, then you must have disciplined yourself and put in goals and managed to stay away, voluntary celibacy, temporarily, blah, 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 no sexual stimuli. When you end up being in 3 Girls in Love, you'll have tons of sexual stimuli and you'll actually fulfill your emotional need for porn, but it's going to be yours. It's going to be your property in the same way that you're going to be their property in 3 Girls in Love. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. And you have basically created heaven on earth, where you're disciplined, you're focused, and you don't look at other men's wives that way. Do you understand what I mean? So, let's look at the questions, and let's see how we can help you guys. I just got off work. Fantastic. Bro, I feel horrible. I am on day 1 of semen retention, but feel stuck in the Groundhog Day of PMO. Any advice for a 20-year-old trying to better himself? Thanks. So, basically, what you guys, first of all, you're not going to succeed if you feel horrible about yourself. That's number 1, really, because self-worth is number 1 in terms of achieving any goal. If you have a horrible self-worth and you have yourself yapping to yourself, oh, I suck, I'm horrible, and blah, 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 and I'm never going to succeed, that's just basically your femininity speaking, right? So you want your masculinity to grow. How do you do it? Well, you need to watch my channel every single freaking day. That's what I recommend, okay? Because if you do that, and preferably sign up for a premium membership on YouTube so you can listen to me all day long without commercials, right? If I have some commercials in there. Because what happens is that you are now basically diluting your femininity with masculinity and masculine principles and work and serving other people. Most probably you're not working 70 to 80 hour work weeks if you're struggling with day 1, Groundhog Day. Are you working 70 to 80 hour work weeks? If not, then start applying for jobs, okay? My guys struggle with 20 applications per day. But I'm like, bro, you could do 50, you could do 100, you could do 200 if you were fired up outside your brain, like I am, okay? So that's where you need to go. Work 70 to 80 hour work weeks, no matter what. If you're unemployed or employed. If you're unemployed, you're going to be spending 70 to 80 hour work weeks applying for jobs. And if you do that, you're going to be successful with that and you're going to be able to start working. And if you do that, you're not going to relapse on a daily basis. Trust me. Okay, let's see. I'm just worried about being financially successful in semen retention right now. All right. Good, Tori. That's where we want to be, man. And hopefully you've got the 70, 80 hour work week and then doing business on the side. You got to do business on the side on your free time. All right, let's see. It's all connected. You got to take cold showers on SR at the beginning or the urges take over. Yeah, that helps. It does help. Every time I relapse and start SR again, someone from the past contacts me. Magnetic stuff. Yes, and that's basically because you don't have any need anymore. So, yeah, get rid of the neediness, guys. Get rid of your femininity. Become masculine. Because it's so close, man. It's just 30 days. It's just 30 days, man. Because once you get past that, it's so much easier to control it. But if you've been doing it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, okay, it's maybe going to take you 60 days to overcome it. But if you're working a lot, and you're going to be like, oh, but I can't work because I need to stay at home and I need to do this and I'm struggling with this, that, and the other. Bro, no matter who you are, if you're a man and you've got sexual drive, which you obviously do because you got to ejaculate all the time, you can work, okay? If you can watch porn and stroke yourself, you can serve other people in other ways. Okay, like it's ridiculous for you to make an excuse of why you can't because you don't have a foot or you don't have an arm and I basically have to like be on welfare for the rest of my life. No, you don't. Okay, I'm just saying the truth from an aspect of your femininity is saying that I can't. But you can. Everyone can. Okay? And if you can't, let's increase the can ability 5% every day until you can. Or else you'll never get rid of your porn and your masturbation issues. And you're going to die a lonely man not having achieved anything. That's not what you want. You want masculinity. Get rid of it. Get started. 70 to 80 hour work weeks, guys. Okay, let's see. How do you dodge girls that text you all day? You block them. That's easy. Like, girl, obviously it's a problem because they want what they cannot have, which means that if you text them, they're going to be like, and you say, I'm not really interested in this right now, and you know, I'm focusing on myself. They're going to be like, oh, ooh, a different kind of guy. I wonder why. And then they start texting. Okay? You don't want that. So you basically say, or you actually ignore them completely. Okay? That sucks. And I explained in this video how horrible that is to do to women, especially if you've had sex with them. But at this point in time, that's what needs to happen. If they're texting you and distracting you all the time, you need to block them or you need to ignore. If you ignore them, they'll stop. Trust me, because they give up. Let's see. Lol bro, what do you recommend? Cold showers and night or morning? For you guys who need cold showers, I've never really needed that. But if you guys need it, then do both. Do morning and evening. Okay? It's a massive rejection. But I'm telling you, I think the reason why you guys need cold showers is because you're not working hard. That's really what it's all about. You're not spending time working. That is the second aspect of semen retention. There's two aspects. One is not touching yourself, and number two is working 80 hours a week. If you're not working 80 hours a week, you're not going to succeed with semen retention. If you're not working 80 hours a week, you're not going to succeed with semen retention. Let's just get the second half right so you can actually succeed with this, shall we? Right? So, and then if you still need cold showers after the 80-hour work weeks, okay, then do cold showers. But I think it's wrong to start with cold showers because it's a massive rejection. But it feels good too, though, after you're done with it. Like, I do it sometimes just for kicks. But I'm saying 80-hour work weeks. Now, immediately, start. Do you believe that are trying to take the power of man away? So meaning women. Yes, women were designed to take away your power. Okay? They were designed to seek it from you if they're masculine. If they're masculine, and most women are masculine these days, burdened, and they want control over their boy or over their man so that he doesn't leave them and so that he's satisfied, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to want to try and get you to be with them and to have sex with them and to ejaculate with them. If you're attractive enough to manage to achieve that. But that's not what you want. You want to get rid of that, right? So, and once you get into a relationship where you're the masculine one and they're the feminine ones, they're going to do everything in their power to give you more power. Okay? That's what happens. My wife wants me to have as much power as possible. Because the more power I have, the more I achieve my goals. The more I achieve my goals, the more happiness she has, the more abundance she has in her life, and the faster we get towards the 3 girls, right? So feminine women, they want you to have tons of power. Masculine women want to drain you of your power. This is one of the other aspects of why monogamy sucks. Let's see. Take a 8-minute cold shower morning or bed, even both. It will increase sperm count. Yeah, probably. Maybe. Will do, bro. Thank you. Do you think some pretty women are demons? What? No, I don't. All women are good, but it's just the fact that men are ruining them on a continual basis and burdening them. So really, it's the men that are demons. Really, when you think about it, demons. I don't talk from religious perspective anymore because it's ridiculous. So anyway, hope you guys have had a fantastic session with me here. Hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.